Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video, I am finally doing an updated Shop My Stash. I have decided I'm going to do these every 6 weeks, but I've actually been working on this rotation for the last 2 weeks. I filmed my Shop My Stash, going through all of my old products and picking my new ones, and I accidentally deleted the footage. So today I'm just going to go through everything that I've already pulled. We're not going to be physically shopping my stash, because I have already done that, but in about 4 weeks, so in the next month or so, I'll refresh this maybe like the last week of the last week of July, so that we can just choose another rotation of summer products to cycle through before we get to the fall time. So if you're interested in seeing all of the products that I have already selected for my current summer rotation, stay tuned. First, if you have yet to subscribe to my channel and you like project planning content, or you just like to chit chat about makeup, I would love if you would consider subscribing before moving on. And other than that, let's just jump into the video. Okay, so this is the desk I get ready at every single day. I wanted to open the drawers up so you guys can see kind of like my full assortment of what everything is. So in this drawer right here, I have all of the products that I am currently working on in projects. I will leave all of my current project pans linked down below in case you guys are interested in what I'm working on in my projects. In this drawer right here, I have my mascara, like my everyday things, mascaras, primers, glitter glue. I don't have a ton of lip pencils, so I kind of keep my lip pencils here. Lip balms, and then back here I always have a couple of just like little eyeshadow palettes that I'm trying to hit pan on a shadow. And then in the drawer over there, I have all of, you can see my dog's whale toy down here. Anyway, I have all the products that I am currently testing out for review. So those are in my desk drawers. So then just moving up to my desk, I have all of my lipsticks up here, all of my sprays currently in my collection. And then in this bowl, I have products that I have been testing and are ready to review. I feel confident in how I feel about those products, but I have not yet reviewed them on my channel. Recently, I added this acrylic organizer to my collection, so now I have these two that will store all of my current products in rotation. And then down here I have a bunch of just like mini eyeshadow, like my quads and things like that. So that being said, let's jump into my current picks and what is in my drawers. Okay, starting in this top drawer, I have primers and concealers. My Drunk Elephant Debronzy drops are here because these are like my go-to for trying to match my self-tan, so I always have these in rotation. And then I always just like to have my Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter as well. I love this. I actually love mixing these two. And I've really been enjoying mixing my Tula primer with my Drunk Elephant. I really like the Tula primer. This is something I would purchase when I finish this. I would love to finish this year, but it is one of those that when I do finish, I would replace. So sometimes I like to focus on things I wouldn't replace, which is why I pulled in my Rare Beauty primer. I do like this primer. It's really nice and glowy and feels really hydrating on the skin, but it's not like a staple favorite one that I would repurchase when I finish. So I think it's the perfect time of year to reach for this just because it is so glowy. It's perfect for the summertime. I've actually made some really good progress on this the last couple of weeks, and I am hoping that I could finish this one by the end of the year. For concealer, I have my Dior Forever Skin Correct. This is probably my best shade match for me right now. I also have the e.l.f. Hydrating Concealer. This was the satin finish. Beautiful. And then I also have the e.l.f. Flawless Brightening Concealer. I use this to just help clean up anything, like any mistakes I've made. So those are it for primer and concealer aside from what I'm testing, which is quite a few skin tints right now. And then aside from what I am project panning. So then in this drawer, I randomly threw a couple of face palettes in here. I did want to work on my Nomad face palette. This is beautiful, beautiful highlights for the summer. And then I also really enjoy this bronzer. So I just have that tucked back here because it fits well in this drawer. And I have my Natasha Denona Love Cheek Duo. I don't know why this is in this drawer. I might move this over to my blush drawer or highlight, but my highlight drawer is very full. And then for the foundations that I am currently working on, I have quite a few that I'm still testing, but I did grab my Smashbox Halo Glow. I love this tinted moisturizer. I think it's beautiful. So I was really excited to reach for this one. Also, I have the Herborian CC cream. This is just a mini size, and I feel like this is something that I could finish up so I can count it as an empty this year. And then this is something I would repurchase next spring. I actually really enjoy this formula, but it's not something I feel like I would use in the winter time. So I want to use it up this summer, count it as an empty, hopefully use up some different foundations this winter, and then I would repurchase this in the springtime. This is something I've been unofficially trying to pan all year. It's my Too Faced Peach Perfect. I feel like I'm just going to keep this in rotation until I finish it, but I also feel like this is the never-ending foundation. So we'll see how that goes. I also have my Dior Forever Skin Glow. I love this. It's a good shade match for me right now, and it's just a beautiful, more full coverage foundation, but still offers like a healthy skin-like finish for the skin. This is something that when we go on date nights or just like go out in the summer, I reach for this. I had not reached for my Pat McGrath in a really long time, so I did want to get some use on this. I was hoping I could maybe finish this up this year, but it is lighter than I remember, and I also just don't feel like that's going to be my journey, but I do want to get some use out of this. And then I also pulled in my Fenty Eavesdrop. I'm not as big of a fan of this as everybody else, but I have been making it work better than I was, and I do want to get some use out of this, so I pulled this one in, and then next rotation I plan to pull in the Urban Decay Tinted Hydrator and a couple other tinted moisturizers. So that is it for this drawer. Okay, next moving over to my powders. I have 4 powders pulled, which actually seems a little bit excessive, especially considering how many powders I have in my collection. But I have my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush. I'm really close to finishing this up, so I just wanted to pull this and finish this hopefully. Also, my Glossier Water is one of my favorite powders in general, but also for the summer. I'd love to finish this up, but I would replace this. This is a lighter weight powder that never feels too heavy. Just a perfect powder for summertime when I do want something that's gonna lock my makeup in place, but not feel super heavy. And then when I want a heavier powder, I pulled my Too Faced Born This Way Ethereal Setting Powder. And to add some, well, just to add a finishing powder, I've actually really been enjoying this one lately, which is kind of shocking because I've definitely had a more love-hate towards the hate side of things with this powder from Hourglass. This is the Ambient Luminous Light Powder. I have a pan in here as well. I was hoping I could finish this by the end of the year, but I again, don't know if that is actually going to happen, but we can certainly try. In my bronzer drawer, I actually don't have that many bronzers, although I do feel like I'm testing quite a few right now and panning quite a few. So I did pull in my Tarte Breezy Cream Bronzer. There's some brush hairs in there, which is so gross. I was surprised I haven't hit pan on this yet. I love this because it's a more neutral bronzer shade, and I'm hoping that maybe I could finish this up this year. This would probably be the only bronzer I finish this year, but maybe that should be my goal. And then I pulled in the Huda Beauty Tantour as well. This is a more full coverage cream bronzing product, and I just hadn't reached for this in a while. I do really enjoy this, and I'm excited to get some use on it. This is the time of year I love my Cover FX Bronzing Duo in the shade Sun Kissed Bronze. It's just more pigmented and a little bit deeper, so it definitely matches me the best when I have a good self-tan going, so reached for that. And then I also wanted to continue to reach for my Tom Ford bronzer, just because this is such a bougie and expensive bronzer. It seems silly not to reach for it, so I grabbed for that as well. Okay, my blush drawer, all blush. I have 2 of my Nabla skin glazings. I have Truth, and I also have Lola, which Lola is just like the perfect like watermelon summery shade. And I wanted to get used on this because I didn't feel like I would use this any other time of the year. I also grabbed 2 of my Buxom Wonderlust blushes. You guys know how much I love Seychelles, which is this beautiful nude neutral shade. And then also Mykonos. I love this coral shade of blush for the summertime. And speaking of coral blushes, I also grabbed my Persona Georgia blush. It had been a while since I've reached for this, and I'm very excited to continue to use that. I also grabbed my Lawless Angel Suede blush. I've been loving this, layered with Nabla Truth. So pretty. So happy to have that. I also had to grab my Bare Minerals bronzer, even though I just was done testing this as well. I just love this so much. I think it's such a beautiful bronzer, or sorry, not bronzer, blush shade, and I didn't want to put this away. I also grabbed for Becca Wild Honey, which is another beautiful nude blush. I love just a bronzy nude complexion in the summer, so perfect time to reach for that. Another nude blush shade is ColourPop Melrose, I think, Fashion District. Again, just a very bronzy blush shade. And then also from Oden's Eye, I grabbed one of their fruit blushers in the shade Apricot Girl, which is, again, kind of more like a coral, mid-toned sort of coral blush shade for the summer. And then for my cream / liquid blushes, I grabbed Fenty Strawberry Drip, which is such a beautiful shade for a sunburnt sort of look. This looks so dirty and disgusting. I apologize. Also from Nude Sticks, I have this mini nudies in, what is this in? Sweet Peach Peony. A really beautiful just nude pink shade, and I just have this much left, so I would love to finish this up and call this an empty for the year. So I feel like I'm just going to keep this in until I finish it. And then also I have my Rare Beauty Dewy Blush in the shade Joy, which is another really beautiful shade for kind of that sunburnt coral cheek sort of vibe. So very excited about that. And then also I have this one from Patrick Ta, which is in the shade Do We Know Her? Again, I just love that sort of coral sunburnt cheek in the summer. So super excited about that. That is going to wrap it up for my blush drawer. All right, we have a very full highlight drawer. I think I only have, no, I have 2 liquid highlights. So I have my Rare Beauty liquid highlight in Mesmerize, and then I also have my Night Shine by Glossier Play. So I have these for liquids. For creams, I did grab the RMS Quad. I would love to finish up this quad this year. I think that would be super cool. I don't know about using up this bronzer shade. I used this as an inner corner highlight on my eyes the other day. So freaking pretty. And I feel like I could use this as like a glossy lid sort of thing, which I feel like has been really in. So I have this, and I'm hoping to finish this up this year. For my powder highlights, okay, I have both of my Dose of Colors I Love Sarah E highlights. So we have Bathe and Soulmate. I have ABH Amrezy because obviously. I have my Kaleidos Ray Rider. So pretty, such a beautiful, just like, oh, that's gonna be so pretty for the summer. Yes, I'm excited. Also, for a more intense day, I did grab my Pixi Glowy Gossamer Duo in Delicate Dew. Bobbi Brown Pink Glow. I love this, and I really just would love to possibly finish this year. And I would purchase this in a full size because I love this so much. Possibly my favorite highlight of all time. Nabla Skin Glazing in the shade Privilege. It's a really beautiful, kind of like pink champagne, pinky peach champagne. Love this for this time of year. I also am grabbing Persona Zuma because this is more of like a summertime highlight for me. It's definitely more intense, which I have not been opting for, but it's so pretty. And I feel like I could use this as a body highlight or something if I'm feeling like it's too intense on the cheeks. I also grabbed Milk Blitzed, which I don't know if you can get this anymore, but it is a really beautiful, like warm pink highlight. And I just thought that would be so pretty. Vesca Moonlight is a favorite of mine. This reminds me of the Mary Luminizer, and I just love the formula. Also, this is my favorite time of year to reach for my Artist Couture Summer Haze Diamond Glow Highlighter. So excited about this. I love this highlight. Like, I love it, and I was not expecting it to because it is messier and more difficult to work with. Becca Rose Quartz would love to finish this year, so I just have this pulled kind of as a permanent highlight. It's also a tippity top favorite. And then also MAC Fairly Precious is more of like a blush, like an not intense, like a blush, glowy blush topper. And I love this. So I'm very excited to, is that gonna focus? Very excited to reach for that as well. In this drawer, I have more face palettes. This seems a little bit excessive, but I have room for it. So I love this NARS Overlust palette for specifically even just, it looks like I've gotten more use out of the highlights. It's more of like a putty highlight texture. Sometimes not the most easy to use, but I love the blush shades in here. So I'm very excited to reach for this. I also have my Becca Après-Ski Glow palette, which I actually feel like works better for me and my skin tone in the summertime, just with like the coppery bronzy highlight. Becca Rose Quartz is in here, and just like the more berry tone. I just think it's pretty for the summertime, so I would like to get some more use out of that. Also, one of the last remaining glow kits in my collection, the Becca Sun Dipped Glow Kit. Obviously seems like an appropriate time of the year to pull this out. And then I would like to potentially pan this entire palette of Laura Geller highlights. I love all three of these so much, on their own or mixed, so I wanted to kind of get a head start on that. This bottom drawer is just kind of like a catch-all. It has just random things that I don't necessarily even rotate out, but I do want to share, I created a single palette, Z palette, and then I have some palettes that I specifically want to reach for the next few weeks that I want to share with you guys. Okay, so first up, I have been loving the Creamsicle Quad from ColourPop, just such a beautiful summer palette. Also, the NARS Summer Solstice palette I have been living for, and I think it's just the perfect summer palette. Natasha Denona Mini Nude, have not been able to put this down, and it's just such an easy palette if I'm like running out the door to do anything this summer. I have really been enjoying this one from Viseart. So this screams summer, and I'm very excited to pull this in. BH Cosmetics Weekend Festival is one of my favorites of all time, but such a perfect palette for this time of year. And then finally, I also have my Sigma Corderosa, which I wanted to focus on. Obviously, I have my Pan Those eyeshadows, and I am testing a bunch of new palettes, and like, I just reach for whatever, but I would really like to focus on these palettes and really get some good use on these the next few weeks before I swap these out in my like midsummer refresh. And then finally, I just created this fun Z palette. I'm not gonna go through every shade with you guys, but I just wanted to kind of show you the color story. It's very random, but I thought it would be fun to try and every time I do a Shop My Stash, just put together a different Z palette with different singles to try and not neglect my single shadows, because that definitely can happen. And honestly, I can say the 2 weeks that I've been working on this Z palette, I have reached into this almost every single day, which is super exciting. So I feel like it's working to get some more use out of my single shadows. And I'm not gonna pick out like lips. I kind of just grab for things as I may with lips. So that is actually gonna wrap it up for today's Shop My Stash video. I would love to know, what products are you guys gonna be reaching for the next few weeks or all summer long? Thank you guys so much for sticking around to watch today's video and for supporting my channel as you always do. I love you guys so much, and I will catch you in my next video.